So all of the talk when it comes to free agency has been about Satu Sabali. And some news came out yesterday that could kind of honestly change everything up, because there is a player currently playing out in Turkey right now that could be one of the best free agents, if not the best free agent, for specifically the Indiana Fever if she is available. Again, look, I think if she I'm going to say this right now, I think if she wanted to play with the Fever, she would have joined the Fever last year. But at the same time, at the Olympic break when she did join the Storm, I think she kind of felt like she owed a bit to the Storm when she was previously there. And also, obviously, it was post-Olympic break and she came halfway through the season. But Gabby Williams is she is Lexi Hull, but 5 times better. That is realistically it. Yeah, she only played 12 games last season. She averaged 10 points per game, 4 boards, 3.7 assists. She had an unbelievably ridiculous game-winning steal. She's one of the best athletes in the entire WNBA. Heck, she nearly made the Olympics in high jump, I'm pretty sure. And in the playoffs, she averaged 17 points per game. She averaged 17 points a game in the playoffs. Like, that is big. She had 20 in a game 2 loss, in a close game 2 loss, and in 14 in game 1. So she is like a playoff riser, which is really, really big. But the thing with Gabby Williams is that everyone kind of thought she was going to be guaranteed back to the Seattle Storm. And that's the reason why, it's like the reason why people aren't talking about Breanna Steward. They're not talking about Breanna Steward as in like this free agent. And the reason why they're not talking about Breanna Steward is because everybody kind of knows that Breanna Stewart's staying. And everyone thought that Gabby Williams was going to be staying. And obviously, she got cored by the Seattle Storm, which is really interesting because, like, you would have thought that maybe they weren't going to offer her the Supermax. And it's a weird one offering her the Supermax. Because, let's be real, the Seattle Storm have to pay Ezi Magbagor. Even if they get off Jewel Lloyd. It means basically they have to get off Jewel Lloyd in a way that they save a bunch of salary. It means they might just throw away Jewel Lloyd. Because NECA's on a max, Skylar's on a max. Like Magbagor, I think Ezi Magbagor might be near a max. And then obviously she's on a max. The only thing is they do lose Mercedes Russell, who is who's quite a big player, but it says here, from what I've seen, it's like Storm reverse course on Gabby Williams, and I just don't even care. But she has been talking about how she's basically working with the Storm for the best situation. And that sounds like exactly like what Satu said. She didn't say this is my last game in for Seattle. So you can see here from ESPN, from Kevin Pelton, they used the core situation. It says, source told ESPN that Williams and her representatives were not surprised by the decision to use the core designation on her. I've been working closely with the Storm on determining her next steps. That sounds very much like, it sounds very much like, look, we're going to trade her. It sounds so like the Satu. And a big reason why is you don't get it for the whole season. That is the one huge issue, is Eurobasket is from the 18th to 29th of June. In the middle of the season, you lose Gabby Williams for 3 weeks. So it's a tough one. It's a really tough decision on whether to go with her, because you lose one of your top players for 3 weeks. But she's absolutely hooping. Like, she is one of the better players. Like, she was one of the best players in the Olympics. She made the All-Olympics first team. She was basically nearly beat USA by herself. Maureen Johannes didn't show up in the final. Like, in the final of the Olympics, she shot the ball. She hit the shot. She just shot with her foot on the line. Like, this is a 1-point game, and she hit the quote-unquote game-tying shot, but it was her foot happened to be on the line. Gabby Williams making the shot. Like, if you look at how Gabby Williams played in this game, like, Gabby Williams had 19 points against Team USA. She was the best player on the floor, including A'ja Wilson. A'ja Wilson was 6 of 14 in the field. She was just chucking. The best player on the floor in the Olympic final was Gabby Williams. And obviously the Storm got her. But she would be if there's some weird way that the Indiana Fever can get Gabby Williams, I don't know if it's possible, to be honest. I don't know if they could. But if they can, give me Gabby Williams over Satu Sabali. Like, it's not like she's old. Like, Gabby Williams is 2 years older than Satu. And I know Satu is the better player. I get that. But when we talk about fit, Gabby Williams is one of the best defensive players in the WNBA. She's also a player that can give you 12 to 15 a game. And honestly, from what we've seen, it looks like Kelsey Mitchell is going to be staying. It genuinely looks like Kelsey Mitchell is going to be staying, so it doesn't really matter. But again, if Kelsey Mitchell is like, I'm leaving, then the Gabby Williams trade would work out perfect, because I think Gabby Williams, as far as fit is concerned, might be equally as good a fit, if not a better fit, than Kelsey Mitchell, because of just her athleticism and her defense, as well as her ability to score 15 points a game with that Fever team. And if not anything else, she's infinitely better than Lexi Hull would be. So for the Indiana Fever, they have to make one splash. So if you can't get Satu, try to find a way to make a splash, because the team can't run it back. Like, you have to make one of two choices realistically. We either need to make a splash. You need to make a splash of the trade, because there is no free agent that could, that's not being cored, that you have any chance of really getting. And like, Gabby Williams will cost you significantly less than Satu, because she's missing a chunk of the season. She's probably missing 6 or 7 games. Like, you could probably get her for, you wouldn't even have to give up the number 8th pick. Like, if you can give up Nalissa Smith and your 2nd round pick, because I think for the way the Storm play, Nalissa Smith will be their best bench player. They're a team with no depth, so Nalissa Smith would help them out a lot. Like, for a team specifically like the Storm. And then the fact is, the Storm don't even need Gabby Williams, because Jordan Horston is too good to be playing on the bench. So realistically, the Storm should have Jordan Horston in the starting lineup, whatever they get for Jewel Lloyd, and then have Nalissa Smith off the bench. You could get Nalissa Smith in a second, is what she'd probably cost. And then suddenly you've now got potential to get Anissa Morrow at the 4. Anissa Morrow, Gabby Williams at the 3, and Aaliyah Boston 3, 4, 5 shores up your defense. And then the Fever's bench, I don't think, is too bad, especially if you can add Lexi Hull to the bench. That really helps the team. It gives them a defensive lineup off the bench. You've got Grace Berger coming in as your backup point guard. Then you look at the vets. So like with the Fever, you're looking at the players that they could realistically go for. There's no forward here that would start. And I mean that. There's no starting forward unless they somehow get Alyssa Thomas, which they're not going to do. Parker Tyus, you don't need Parker Tyus. You don't want to overpay for Maisha Hines-Allen. We saw in the playoffs, Maisha Hines-Allen was struggling. Like, Alicia Clark would be good, but she's pushing 40. And she's not going anywhere from the Aces. Like, you end up going, like, Monique Billings would have been great, but Monique Billings might end up signing the damn Supermax with, because, well, if they don't core her, she can just walk if you're the Valkyries. But if you end up going for, like, a Gabby Williams, and let's say you don't want to take the risk with a Kennedy Carter, like, there are players that I'm like, you should just go for. Like, by the way, if a Wakuir is available and teams aren't jumping on the chance to get her, I don't know what's happening. But, like, if you can manage to pull off a Gabby Williams trade, it would take a lot less assets again. You're not really losing assets. This could be a way to just get off Nalissa Smith. And then with the money, with kind of money, say, for Smith, even with bringing in Gabby Williams potentially on, like, a $200K a year contract, you're probably going to have to go like a small free agent. And if you want to go vet, because you've already got off the bench, like Katie Lou probably backup 4, Lexi Hull backup 2, 3, Grace Berger backup 1. I like Saxton, to be fair. I actually do think Saxton can play a bit on the bench. And then you've got Damaris Dantas. Christy Wallace should be out of the rotation. But then if you want to vet, go and get Sammy Whitcomb. Sammy Whitcomb will probably play for close to the minimum next year. She's 37. She's a multiple-time champion, a really good bench player. And she can come in and shore it up. If Berger's struggling a little bit, she can shore it up at the 1. She can play okay minutes. It's just whether or not she wants to be kind of that, playing that role. I think Kennedy Burke, who could be a very, very nice bench player if she's willing to play for that similar salary. Obviously, someone like a Sydney Colson won't. And are there any other vets that you can just have there for vet leadership? Because I doubt that we'll be seeing Erica Wheeler going back. And that's one of the issues. Like, if Erica Wheeler was going back, if she was willing to play for $75K a year, you take Erica Wheeler as the vet. But other than that, like, Sammy Whitcomb probably is the the vet that you go for, and you're like, she'll be there as the vet presence. She'll be your Erica Wheeler type player. And then that is a team. Again, look, it's not a championship team, but it's a team that's a hell of a lot closer to a championship than now. Like, that starting five can compete with anyone. And then you don't have the best bench in the world, but you've got Lexi Hull, who's a really good bench player. Like, Lexi Hull was one of the weaker starting wings in the W, but she'd be one of the better bench wings in the W. I think Grace Berger is one of the better bench point guards. I think Katie Lou can be a solid bench player. I think Dantas might be one of the better bench bigs in the W. The problem is that the team is also missing, like, your Temi Figbenle type running center for sometimes when Dantas and Leah Boston just can't keep up. And I don't know where they can find that. But if you bring in Gabby Williams, there is one free agent that pushes Morrow to the bench, but could be a championship deciding free agent. You know, Gabby Williams is French. If you're willing to just go out with 10 players for a couple of games, and when they're gone, maybe sign some hardship players, there is a player by the name of Janelle Salone who is used to playing the 3-4 with Gabby Williams for the French national team. It increases your chances of getting Janelle. And if you can put Janelle Salone at the 4, Gabby Williams at the 3, Kelsey Mitchell at the 2, Caitlin Clark at the 1, and Aaliyah Boston at the 5, and then you have Anissa Morrow off the bench, you've got Anissa Morrow, Damaris Dantas. If that's the case, I would probably be you got Anissa Morrow, Damaris Dantas, Lexi Hull, Katie Lou Samuelson, and Grace Berger as your bench. Like, that is a team that can, like, run teams out of the damn gym, can lock up on defense, and can drop 100 in any given game.